The hype for Multiverse of Madness, at least for myself, is unreal. I haven't been this excited for a Marvel movie in forever. I was excited for No Way Home, and that movie was amazing, but I don't know. For some reason, I'm looking forward to Doctor Strange way more. It's obviously because I want to see Tom Cruise as Superior Iron Man and John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, and all the other rumored and teased characters that we all hope will appear. Well anyways, today we have some more characters that may or may not be in Doctor Strange 2. According to My Time to Shine Hello, Storm isn't in Multiverse of Madness. Charlize Theron is playing Clea, Ghost Rider is in one cut of the movie, but she's not sure if it's the final cut, and as far as she knows, no one from Loki will appear in the movie. Now Storm would be cool, but that was never gonna happen. We still haven't seen any X-Men or mutants in the MCU, and with everything else that Multiverse of Madness has to cover and explain, it just doesn't make sense for them to introduce any other X-Men other than the two that we already know will appear, Professor X and Deadpool. It sucks that Rachel McAdams won't be returning as Christine Palmer following Doctor Strange 2, since we already know that in the movie she'll die. And this is the reason why Charlize Theron, most likely playing a variant Palmer, is actually Clea. We've also heard that she'll appear in the post-credit scenes, and it seems like they're setting her up as the main villain in Doctor Strange 3. As for Ghost Rider, he's one of those characters that everyone wants to see, but to me it doesn't seem very likely. Right now we possibly have 3 versions: Nick Cage as Johnny Blaze, Gabriel Luna's Robbie Reyes, and possibly Norman Reedus as whatever version he'll play, possibly Danny Ketch or even someone else. I really don't think that Nick Cage or Gabriel Luna will return, and if a Ghost Rider does appear in Doctor Strange 2, it'll probably be Norman Reedus if he is actually even playing the role. As for Loki, that one's actually a bit weird because Sylvie killing Kang the Conqueror technically did play a role in opening the multiverse. However, with the end of Loki Season 1, it makes sense why none of the characters are appearing. Loki's currently in a different universe, and Sylvie is who knows where. But we just have to wait a few more weeks to finally find out who's in Doctor Strange 2, whether Daredevil, Wolverine, Ghost Rider, Iron Man, Mr. Fantastic, Black Bolt, or any of the other characters will appear. Next, Moon Knight has in my opinion been the best Disney Plus show by far, but it's crazy how many Easter eggs and connections the show already has. 3 very important ones are the connection to Kang the Conqueror in episode 3, which according to Eric Voss over at New Rockstars, was actually confirmed to be intentional by cast working on the show. The young thug that Mark Spector is chasing, who eventually falls to his death, was wearing a jacket that showed a pharaoh which looked very similar to Kang the Conqueror's Rama Tut. For those of you that don't know, Nathaniel Richards, the man who would eventually become Kang the Conqueror, was actually from the future. After finding time-traveling technology, he traveled back in time to ancient Egypt and took on the mantle of Rama Tut. There, he tried to find En-Sabah-Nur, who would eventually become Apocalypse and make him his heir. However, all of the things that Kang did in ancient Egypt actually angered Khonshu, became a big mess, and eventually the Avengers and Fantastic Four beat him, and he traveled back in time to the future. While trying to get home, he overshot by 1,000 years and ended up in the future, where he found some very advanced technology and became Kang the Conqueror. So anyways, that's why it makes sense for Rama Tut to have appeared in episode 3, due to his connection to Khonshu in the comics. In episode 2, there were also 2 books that connected to Thor 4. In Stephen Grant's apartment, there was a book called What's Old is New Again, Asgard, and also the History of Wakanda. Now this is important because we were already introduced to a majority of the Ennead, aka the Egyptian gods in episode 3, but in the MCU, there are plenty of other gods like Odin, Thor, and Loki that have played major roles over the years. Gore the God Butcher will go after Thor in Love and Thunder, with Zeus played by Russell Crowe probably being the first to die and introducing Hercules into the MCU. We also know that Bast, the Wakandan Panther god, will appear in Thor 4, with Akosia Sabat cast in the role. So it's really interesting that Moon Knight has connections to both the gods that will appear in Thor 4. It's also very likely that through the Darkhold, Doctor Strange 2 could set up Chthon and the rest of the Elder Gods. But anyways, back to Moon Knight and how it connects to Thor Love and Thunder, there are a number of news reports discussing Spider-Man's secret identity and Mysterio's attack on London, for which Peter Parker is blamed. But one of those reports includes a news ticker discussing the Asgardian settlement of New Asgard, which says political turmoil continues in New Asgard as Z, and that Z is most likely Zeus making his first appearance in the MCU, and could explain why Gore the God Butcher goes straight to New Asgard. But what this actually confirms is that Thor Love and Thunder most likely doesn't take place too long after Spider-Man No Way Home or Moon Knight. And if you take a look back at Marvel's official MCU timeline, you can see that Spider-Man No Way Home, The Eternals, and Hawkeye all take place at roughly the same time. We also know that Moon Knight doesn't take place too much after Hawkeye, as there are references to the Global Repatriation Council, which first showed up in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Also, even though Thor Love and Thunder is coming out after Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, The fact that in No Way Home, which took place around the fall of 2024, already had mentions of Zeus means that it'll take place at roughly the same time and possibly even before Moon Knight. And lastly, it seems like Werewolf by Night will not be fully CGI when he appears in the MCU as early as Moon Knight. Now remember, there was a leaked Moon Knight Funko Pop which confirmed that Werewolf by Night will appear in the show, so we won't have to wait until the Werewolf by Night project in October, and we'll instead see him in 2 or 3 weeks before Moon Knight ends. But let me know what you guys think about all this. Are there any characters that haven't been rumored to appear in Doctor Strange 2 that you would really like to see appear in the movie? What do you think of the Easter eggs in Moon Knight and all of the new gods that are being introduced into the MCU? And how excited are you to see Werewolf by Night in the MCU? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you will never miss another video. Thanks for watching, and remember to wash your hands and stay safe.